Oh, welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2004 here in TEW 2020, and it's time, after a little bit of a delay, for Halloween Havoc 2004, main evented, as you can see, by Shane Helms challenging for the WCW World Championship against Sean O'Hare, the current champion, live from the hopefully sold-out Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado at the end of October. But one more time before, of course, we go over that, it's time for one last push for the Mayhem Tournament Pick'ems, so let me just go over that for you guys one more time. So to go over this one final time before the tournament starts on the first show of the November, basically cycle. Again, if you go to this website, challenge.com/2004mayhem, you can sign up. And again, you can sign up either and just create a prediction for the tournament. Again, you can either use, your actual email address, and that's fine. But if you just want to use a throwaway email address, or you want some other contact point, just include that contact point in the name of your prediction, either it's your Reddit username, a Twitter username, whatever way you want to be contacted in case you actually win, and have some, have some little prizes in the game for that, then great. Otherwise, just put your email address and that's great. But you go through, you pick who's going to win, and as I've been up before, only the final four and the winner count because there is no final, since the final is, of course, a 4-man ladder match. But again, pick who you want to win, who you think will win, and again, remember, this is not going to be a chalk tournament, but it's not going to be everybody, lower card also getting to the finals as well. It's going to be, well, telling you who would be, of course, spoiling things. And again, as a reminder, you have until basically the first show of the month of November comes up, which will likely be Friday, comes up. So again, one more final push, sign up. We've already got 5 people, and hopefully we'll have a few more. And again, to go over things as far as the prizes, first prize is you get a match at the January pay-per-view of your choice outside the world title main event, a wrestler brought up from developmental, a dev signing of your choice, a dev release of your choice, and a one push and D push of the wrestlers on the roster within reason. Like, obviously, if you say D push Bill Goldberg, he's not suddenly going to be a jobber, and if you say push Lash LaRue, he's not going to be challenging for the world title in the year. And of course, one firing of a member of the WF in-game roster, again, within reason. There's like 3 or 4 people that I'm not going to let be fired just for in-game reasons. But beyond that, the world is your oyster. Moving on, second place is a title match of your choice at a Nitro or Revolution, a push and a D push. Again, and of course, if there's conflicting, the first prize will do a second prize. So first place want to push, Ron Simmons, but the other person wants to D-push him, then, of course, the first prize will win, and second place will just have to, give me somebody new. And a dev signing of your choice. Third place is a match at a Nitro or Revolution of your choice, and a dev signing of your choice. And also, if I get 10 predictions or more, which isn't likely, but still is possible, considering we still have another week, there'll also be a random drawing where from everybody who put a prediction in to win, and we'll get to have a match on Nitro or Revolution of your choice as well. But that's it for now, so let's get on to the actual pay-per-view itself. Of course, we start with our opening video, probably some spooky skeletons and graveyards, and maybe like a witch doing the voiceover or something. I admit I didn't put too much thought into it because it's Halloween Havoc. What else can you do? Regardless, we focus on our big matches: Goldberg, Monty Brown, Sean O'Hare versus Shane Helms for the title, Eddy versus Wright rematch from 7 years ago, and of course, Kidman versus Kanyon, and any other fun stuff on the card. But let's get over to our opening match, which is, as you can see, Rob Van Dam versus Jeff Jarrett for the number 1 contendership inside a steel cage. So again, just sort of getting a little bit realistic. Of course, we want to put the cage match at either the end or the beginning of the show, just for, just to get things ready. Even though obviously we can get the cage up or down pretty quickly, still easier just to do it at the top of the show. And of course, this is a very hot opening to the show. And this is sort of the match you'd expect from these two. These two have been feuding for the past couple months and only gotten more, intense as, they met up in the little finals of the mini tournament, but of course the chosen few got involved, and that got the Hart Legacy also involved, which will lead to a later match. And now these two are facing off inside a cage to make sure nobody else can get involved, and will determine an actual member contendership. And this match is sort of what you expect. Jarrett does his brawling, lots of cage stuff, throwing RVD against the cage, trying to escape, just to get out of things, but RVD fighting him off, brawling. There's a table bump by RVD, Jarrett suplexes him through a table, more brawling, plunder, this is a plunder heavy match, I imagine the Singapore King gets involved, imagine some chairs gets involved, RVD gets drilled with one, RVD fights back himself because he's Rob fucking Van Dam, dive to the outside, brawling, because this is the mid-2000s, it's all sort of a cage with the floor, Hell in a Cell style, but not named that because copyright. But, both men, fight to the outside, ring bell, Jarrett's bleeding, RVD's fighting. Jarrett, does his low blow, fights back, hits a stroke. RVD kicks out. RVD goes up. RVD eventually, RVD gets locked in the figure four, but he gets to the ropes. Jarrett continues to attack him, but RVD eventually is able to go, get his win back, hit the Rolling Thunder, hit the Van Daminator, and then actually go up top, hit the 5-star Prog Splash. 1, 2, Jarrett barely kicks out. The fight continues. Jarrett goes up top, tries to escape, but RVD pulls him down. Hits him, huge superplex on Jarrett, but then RVD climbs up, all the way up to the top of the cage. 5-star Prog Splash from the top of the cage. And then after that, it's over. 1, 2, 3. Rob Van Dam is your winner and the new number 1 contender for the heavyweight championship. Then go off here. So yeah, already defeats Jeff Jarrett in a cage monitor match in 2011 by pinfall 5-star Frog Splash, 91 overall. RVD gets a 92, Jarrett gets an 87. Slightly low morale and inconsistency, but what can you do? It's these two. But still, 91, really great match. And then post-match, RVD celebrates because, of course he does, as he points to himself, does the RVD thing, and then, makes the gold belt motion around his waist as he heads slowly to the back while Jarrett recovers and the cage slowly goes up. Next up is the first of 2 women's matches on the night as Tricia Skye takes on Angel Foxx. Of course, that's Trish Stratus that they annually love. Tricia Skye, since she's come to WCW, has been trying to get a 1-on-1 match against Lizzie Dumas, the former Lita, but Lizzie Dumas has now got some backup in the form of former WCW World Champion Angel Foxx and Lexi James, and has been putting them as, sort of people in front of her in order for Tricia to actually get the match. And of course, there's the big women's war game at Fall Brawl, which Tricia Skye's team won, but now there's one more obstacle for her, a 1-on-1 match against Angel Foxx to finally get a match at Lizzie Dumas, and this is a solid match. Actually one of the better women's matches we have. Of course, Tricia's really over and pretty good in ring, and of course, Angel Foxx has been one of the best women's wrestlers in WCW since the division was reconstituted, and back and forth, perfectly solid match. But at the end of the day, Tricia Skye is Tricia Skye, and Angel Foxx does her best. She hits the Angel Snap, but Tricia gets her foot on the ropes, back and forth. Tricia hits the chick kick, and then hits the Sky's Limit Stratefaction right in the middle of the ring. And with nowhere to go, she hits the pinfall on Angel Foxx. 1, 2, 3, and she finally gets her victory to get a 1-on-1 match against Lizzie Dumas sooner than later. And yeah, as we can see here, overall match got a 73 as Tricia Skye gets a 78, Angel Foxx gets a 57, 934, solid win. I still need to change the name of that move as 73 overall. And yeah, let me see if there's anything in the dirt sheet. Angel, awful gimmick, but what can you do there? And then post-match, Tricia is celebrating, and Lizzie Dumas comes down to the ring, top of the ramp, and there's a stare down as the entrance put over that Tricia and Lizzie will finally face off 1-on-1 soon enough. And we're off to our next match. And it's a big match in the tag team division as the chosen few team of Joanie, Devine, and Jindrak team up to take on the Hart Legacy of Teddy Hart and Jack Evans. Of course, Hart Legacy have been very successful here in WCW, winning the World Tag Team titles, and evolved in a big 3-way feud at the end of last year, but they sort of had it up and down 2004, but now they're trying to get back in the top of the tag division along with helping out Rob Van Dam, which led to this mini feud with Joanie Devine and Jindrak, along with the RVD and Jeff Jarrett, and now they're facing off in a big tag team match here at Halloween Havoc, and it's sort of the match you expect between these two. Jindrak acts as the base, but otherwise, lots of high-flying spots. Teddy Hart, and Jack Evans do Teddy Hart, Jack Evans stuff, lots of flips. Jindrak does some power moves to build the heat, but eventually babyfaces, make their comeback. But Joanie Devine does some, tricky shitty, cocky heel tactics, hits a few high-flying moves of his own, but near the end of the match, Jindrak comes in to do some heel bastardy, but a big double team by the Hart Legacy hit him outside, and Jack Evans hits a wild 630 spinning wild, tope to the floor to knock out Jindrak and also knock out himself. Devine tries to sneak in and hit sort of a low blow and then cradle on Teddy Hart, but Teddy kicks out, and then eventually Teddy takes over, hits the open heart surgery, and gets the 1, 2-3 victory, and a big victory for the Hart Legacy over Devine and Jindrak. And overall, this match gets an 82. Really good match. Again, this is like two of the biggest instances of sort of like why there needs to be a split for me, because like these guys are perfectly solid mid-card, upper mid-card people, but I don't have time for really either of them unless I sort of like throw them into one of my main feuds. But regardless, the match is over, and as you can see, Hart Legacy defeat Devine and Jindrak in 10:37. Match itself gets an 82, Jindrak gets a 73, Devine gets a 66, Jack Evans gets an 82, and Teddy Hart gets a 66, and Jack Evans currently has a stale gimmick. I'll make a note of that and then fix that off screen. But yeah, there we go. Big win for the Hart Legacy, and like I had mentioned, they've like they had an up and down 2004. Now they seem to be back on the back near the top of the tag division. And then post match, Teddy, Jack, and Eddy all celebrate to a 55. Moving forward to our next big match here on Halloween Havoc. And next up is a big WCW United States title match as Paul London defends the title against Jonathan Toro. Of course, London won the title after like being part of the big Paris Incredibles 8-man tag on 4 tag team match on Nitro, then defeating Lance Storm, then getting what could be considered an upset win over Tajiri at Fall Brawl. And of course, Jonathan Toro earned a U.S. title shot by defeating the former U.S. champion Tajiri, and now these two face off. Of course, Toro has been doing Roman Legion stuff, sort of trying to threaten Paul London, but London's been a fighting babyface. And this match, it's a very, very solid match, as Toro, is a good wrestler, even though he uses cheating heel tactics, using the power stuff to take control, slows the match down. London tries to make a babyface comeback to take back control, hits a big dive on both Romeo and Swinger as they come down to try to interfere for their fearless leader. London goes back on the babyface prowl, hits a big running bulldog, springboard senton, a standing splash for near fall, tries to get the build up, hits a few big strikes and a savate kick, goes for an outside moonsault. Toro gets his knees up, takes over. Toro hits a big gut-wrench suplex, continues to work on London's neck and back. And then, but London again makes the babyface come back again, and looks like he's going to get the win when Elizabeth Canales, who has not been seen sort of in months here, comes down to the ringside, distracts Paul London just long enough for him to turn around right into the roaring elbow from Toro, who then hooks the leg, holding the tights. 1, 2, 3. We have a new United States champion, and his name is Jonathan Toro. So big win for Jonathan Toro, as he finally, after months, going to Italy to get his heritage, creating the Roman Legion, is now the United States champion. 81, which is actually better than I expected. I expecting this mid-70s here. As this gets an 81, Toro gets a 72, London gets a 75. Dirt sheet, anything of note? And not really. I had this as storytelling, as you'd expect. But yeah, hot crowd, good rotation work, all that fun stuff. So this is basically, 81 overall, like I said, Toro wins the U.S. title, and the heels all celebrate to 58. And this is sort of Canales' swan song, as she got a TV role, and then now her contract was basically up when she came back. So this is sort of her final thing to come back. She was never as much of a character as I really wanted to build outside of those initial things, just because sort of ran into a with her, and plus the whole Roman Legion thing took over that. But now, she gets to help Toro win and disappear off it back into Italy, where she'll meet George Clooney and do that whole fun stuff that she did in real life. But it's a big win for Jonathan Toro as he becomes U.S. champion. It's sort of one of my really fun booking things I think I've done on the other card to really build things up slowly but surely. But now it's time to move on to the next match on the card. As it's time for another title match, as Blitzkreig tries to become the Cruiserweight champion as he takes on the longtime champion Elix, who's held the title since May, if I remember right. And he's had an impressive reign, defeating anybody in his path. But some criticizes that he's never faced a truly great Cruiserweight. But Blitzkreig did earn the shot here, and here it is exactly what you expect. Another high flying, all spots match between these two. Skipper and Blitzkreig both do impressive things in the ring. Lots of flips, moonsault to the outside, running dive off the ring apron, tornado DDT to the floor, brawling back inside. Blitzkreig tries to hit the, 450 off the top, but Skipper gets his knees up. Skipper does some, like, flashy heel stuff, like his own quick snap suplexes, side and German suplexes on Blitzkreig, big running, like, sort of knee strike, tries to hit the overdrive flash play of the day. Blitzkreig gets out of it, rolls through, goes back on offense for a little bit, but in the end, Skipper takes over. Blitzkreig goes up top one too many times. Skipper takes over, hits a play of the day / overdrive, and gets the completely clean pin right in the middle of the ring for the 6th defense of the Cruiserweight title. Yeah, this overall gets a 65, is honestly the weakest thing on the show. The Cruiserweight division's really in a weird place right now because all the really over people have moved on to other things, and these guys, I haven't had enough TV time to get these guys on TV every week to actually build things up along with the rest of the Cruiserweight division. But a big solid win for Skipper as he gets another scalp on his, another scalp as he gets his 6th win as the Cruiserweight champion, and a really long reign here as this gets a 65, Bruiser gets a 49, Skipper gets a 58, and yeah, big win for him, and Skipper celebrates afterwards with the title to a 50. So hopefully that helps and gets a little bit over, because at this point, that's really all I care about. The Cruiserweight division is getting Skipper Scaldi over before he actually drops the title. Let's move on to our next big match here at Halloween Havoc, live at the sold-out Pepsi Center. Here's a big match that you could say could be paint a picture of the future of WCW, as we've got Jamie Knoble, who of course has been very impressive the past couple months, going after Eddie Guerrero, Goldberg, lots of big stars here, including even getting a win over Eddie Guerrero. He'd tell you that he knocked Goldberg out for a couple months, but that's a whole other story. But of course, taking on AJ Styles, who's been a rising star, and of course, part of what you could say is the best tag team of the sort of like post-Turner era as part of Air Raid, but of course that broke up. He beat Air Paris, basically kicked him out of WCW since Air Paris got bitchy about losing, sat out of his contract, and so I just released him. Which honestly, from what I've read and heard from from podcasts and such, is pretty much what Air Paris would do. But regardless, now he and Jamie Knoble have been put on a path against each other. Originally, he had Knoble in his other feuds, but as part of being in with Jeff Hardy, but AJ helped Jeff Hardy, and now in a consequence of them teaming up, now AJ and Knoble started fighting, and the past couple of weeks has gotten a little personal, as Knoble says, AJ hasn't been raised right, the proper Southern way, and he's going to give him a Southern style beatdown here at Halloween. And the match itself is what you'd expect. Honestly, I'm 99% sure these guys actually had a match in Ring of Honor in this time period. So if you look at that, just find that it's actually just that, except slightly better, possibly, and moreover, and in front of 18,000 people instead of 500 people. But Knoble does his technical stuff. AJ, fights out of it. Does his own little bit of technical stuff, but hits his big moves. Aside moonsaults, moonsaulted DDTs, cross-body blocks, big super kicks, running. Actually, I would imagine him actually picking up Styles as he goes for a submission, hitting him with a running power bomb. But Knoble fights back. Ebony, Sable get involved. Knoble gets Styles to the outside. Ebony, Sable throws Styles against the ring apron and does a little more of a beatdown before Knoble takes over. But Styles looks like he's going to get the win. Hits a few big moves in a row. Hits a sort of Fosbury flop to the outside. Hits moonsault DDT. Goes for the Styles clash, but Knoble gets out of it. And then, AJ actually hits another big move. Hits the forearm. And Knoble, falls as if his knee is injured. Styles goes to look over him. But that is just a ploy and a sign of Knoble's veteran presence, as he actually isn't able to swipe, kick Styles' knee from out from under him, lock him into the trailer hitch, and then turn into a guillotine choke right in the middle of the ring. With nowhere to go, Styles actually has to submit, and Jamie Knoble gets a big win here at Halloween Havoc. As Youngster's put over, this is proof of Styles' still inexperience, as he fell for a trick there by Knoble, and Knoble gets the big victory here on pay-per-view. So overall, the match gets a 78 as Knoble defeats Styles, like I said. Styles gets a 79, Knoble gets a 76. And as far as booking, honestly, AJ's is sort of outpacing, he's not quite super over yet, but he's getting there. And this I think, was a solid place to give Knoble a win here. And Styles is not hurt at it at all because Knoble did cheat, and plus Styles is at the beginning of this year was just a pure tag team guy, And now he basically went 50-50 with a guy who did beat Eddie Guerrero. So there you go. I'm sure the youngsters would mention that. Like, AJ's lost, but he can't feel bad since, he barely lost to a man who did defeat a former world champion. And post-match, of course, the heels celebrate to lose the crowd as this gets a 54. As we move forward to our next big match here on the show. The next match on the show is, of course, the WCW World Women's match between Joanie Laurer and Celine Cartier. Celine Cartier, of course, won the match as sort of basically a prize for being the woman who got the submission to win the first Women's World Records match at Fall Brawl. And since then, Joanie Laurer has been targeting, but, Celine Cartier has been, basically pointing out that, she's ready to fight. She's an underdog, but, this is David Goliath. She's ready to go, go punch for punch, kick for kick, move for move with Joanie Laurer, who has been dominant since winning the title, basically like running over Gail Kim twice in a row, winning the title and defending the title. But, this is a match that's a fight right from the start. Like, Celine Cartier's known in a different world as Lufisto is ready for a fight, and she just brawls and fights with Laurer right from the start. Well, Laurer is kind of surprised, but she fights back herself, and that's basically the match. Like, Cartier hits him, like, getting boom, punch, forearm, kick, punch, and Laurer fighting back with a big kick and a big lariat to knock her down, but seeing Cartier getting back up and continuing the fight. Match builds to the outside. I imagine, like, Laurer, like, getting nailed by Cartier with a hot shot onto the ring apron, which gives her a little bit of offense. Rolling Joanie back in. She hits several big boots, big knee strikes, picks her up for the Celeste V, but Laurer gets out of it, and then it's pretty much from there, it's all Joanie as she nails Cartier with a big boot, hits a big power bomb, and then holds her up, sleeper drop. And with nowhere to go, Cartier has to just face the music and get pinned 1, 2, 3, but a valiant effort by Cartier. She gives everything, but there might be nobody who at the moment can stop Joanie Laurer as she runs over the WCW Women's Division here in WCW. As the match overall gets a 78, Laurer gets a 92, Cartier gets a 56, and really solid match. I did put it as a wild brawl, so that's why I had him fighting all over, and it didn't hurt the match at all, which was good. And I sort of I do imagine Cartier / Lufisto doing some of her Lufisto stuff, probably maybe even some plunder, need be, but in the end, Joanie's Joanie. She's still, basically my second most over person on the roster. So she just gets to, run it for people for the moment. But a big win for Laurer, as she then picks up Celine Cartier and just drops her again with another powerbomb, then walks away to the boost of the crowd as that gets a 68. And a big win for Joanie Laurer here at Halloween Havoc. As next up, it's time for a tag title match as Elix, Wright, and Chavo Guerrero have the tremendous challenge of facing the Deadpool for the tag team titles. Of course, after being gone for a couple months after the hellacious O'Haire-Mesias feud, Deadpool left for a while, but they returned with a message to attack, of course, the O'Haire-Mesias feud, and then their feud with their former, partner, Vampiro, and then after that, they left for the past couple months, and then they returned at Fall Brawl, attacking the tag team champions and saying the message was they were here to take over the tag team division. They, won a match. They earned their tag title shot, and now Wright and Chavo face the biggest challenge of the time they've been teaming together. And to their credit, Wright and Chavo, they have a plan, and that plan is keep Morningstar in the ring, because Morningstar is a great wrestler, but he's the similar size as Wright and Chavo. He's very skilled, but Wright and Chavo have been a tag team who've had great chemistry together, working well, and that what happens early in this match is they hit, they rush the ring, they hit Mesias with a big double close and knock him to the outside, and then they go after Morningstar, and the match is on, and they basically, quick tags, quick double teams, and sort of keep Morningstar off his handle, but after a few minutes, Morningstar is able to, reverse a Irish whip of his own, get back on offense, hit an aside moonsault, and then tag in Mesias, and the fight is on. And Mesias just throws both Wright and Chavo around. Big moves, big car moves, big car slam, fall away slam, lariat, choke slam that's blocked by choke slam on Chavo that's blocked by Wright. And it looks like Wright and Chavo are both going to get double choke slam, but they actually hit a huge double suplex on Mesias. That was Mesias teaming up tagging out to Morningstar. And it looks like Wright and Chavo are actually going to get the victory after Wright hits a big tornado DDT followed by sort of like a quick start DDT on Morningstar. But Mesias comes in, basically boots Wright in the head. Match breaks down. Eventually, Chavo and Mesias are the legal men, and that does not go well for Chavo Guerrero as he gets just rolled. Big boot, choke slam, crucifix powerbomb, and 1, 2, 3, clean victory right in the middle of the ring for Mesias and Morningstar as they win the tag team titles. So yeah, Mesias and Morningstar win the titles. This gets an 80 overall. Chavo gets an 84. Alex Rock gets an 82 thanks to their chemistry. Morningstar gets an 83. Mesias gets an 81. And yeah, overall, like, solid match, really good match. I basically didn't. The only way to like put over the dominance of both teams is I didn't want to squash Wright and Chavo. Is I just didn't have the set matches open. And overall, let's see, was there anything bad here? Mesias, low morale. I mean, you just won the tag titles. You should be happier now. So low heat on but everything else was good. So yeah, I mean, I was honestly hoping maybe Mesias and Morningstar would like pull out like high 80s, but but not the end of the world here. As then Mesias and Morningstar leaves the titles, sort of dragging them behind us as the crowd boos, and the owners put over, that Mesias and Morningstar may be the most dominant team here in WCW we've seen in a long, long time. As this gets 69, as we're really building up to the big matches here at Halloween Havoc. As then, we then have some quick highlights of Ray and Eddy at Halloween Havoc 97, focusing on, Eddy and, the moves, and the Ultras, put over, an instant classic that was given praise all over the wrestling world at the time. Now it's time for Eddy Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. It's time for a big match as after 7 years, Rey Mysterio Jr. and Eddy Guerrero face off one more time. Of course, Ray Jr. did get that win back at Halloween Havoc 1997 to keep his mask, but Eddy Guerrero, of course, has been very successful since then, winning winning the WCW World Championship and being very impressive in other companies, but of course turning heel recently, and now the match is on, and like there's lots of throwbacks to their 1997 match, including Ray starting out the match with going up to the top or running the ropes and hitting a suicide dive into her Hurrah to start the match off just right from the start, because of course that's what Rey Mysterio Jr. would do. And then sort of like, match is, then sort of slows down, lots of like fighting right from the start, except quick moves from Eddy and from Ray, but, hits a diving sort of like springboard moonsault. Eddy hits a big monkey flip, jumping body splash, big brawling on the outside, uppercut, big drop kick by Eddy, but then Eddy takes over, vertical suplex, back suplex, stomping, kicking, abdominal stretch, big sort of like belly to back suplex, then like Mysterio like sort of pushes him off, hits a quick modified sort of like acid drop, but Eddy's ready for it and actually turns it into a powerbomb for a near fall. But Mysterio, recovers actually a little bit quicker from Eddy. It's a quick drop kick and then sends Eddy to the outside. Then Ray hits another dive, but Eddy's ready for him, and Ray, basically dies on the non-ring post on the guardrail. Eddy hits him, hits a big suplex on the outside, then rolls him in, goes for locks in the camel clutch. As the announcer put over, it was invented by his father Gory, but Ray fights back. But then he tries to lock him into the Gory special, but Ray uses an arm drag to escape. Big Canadian backbreaker again as Eddy locks him back in, but Ray fights out of it. Eddy takes back over, hits a big belly to belly suplex, big lariat, basically picks him back up right into suplex, picks him up, brainbuster, no, Ray gets out of it, slides in, rolling reverse cradle, sends Eddy to the outside, another big dive to the outside, fight. Ray throws Eddy back in, but Eddy is ready for him, kicks him, goes for tilt-a-whirl, but hits a Frankensteiner. Eddy kicks out of two. springboard flip by Ray, but Eddy, a springboard sent on by Ray, but Eddy gets out of the way. Ray then goes up top. Eddy then picks up Ray, goes for the powerbomb of Doom, but Ray turns into a Frankensteiner Hurricanrana at the last second, but Ray kicks out at 2.9. Eddy kicks out at 2.9. Ray then hits just a blatant low blow, then pulls him up, Blue Thunder Bomb, goes up top, sort of like just upset, Frog Splash, nails it. Ray kicks out at 2.9 again. Then Ray picks up Eddy. Eddy actually goes to pick up Ray again, but Ray hurdles him, picks him up for a quick slam, hits this like a moonsault, but Ray Eddy gets his knees up as Ray flies up. Eddy picks him up again, and this time kills him with the powerbomb of death. Picks him up. Brainbuster of Doom. Goes up top, but Ray barely rolls away. Wolfmen are slow to get up. They trade punches. Eddy gets the advantage. Picks up Ray again. Pulls him up. Crucifix powerbomb. Splash button from the top rope. But Ray turns it into a Hurricanrana again. 1, 2. Eddy kicks out this time. Ray shocked. Eddy actually hits a sort of like cut block and just sort of tries to hit a quick cheating cradle to get the pinfall. But Ray kicks out. Ray goes up top. No, Ray hits a quick running Rana. Hits him with a side moonsault. Then, as Eddy is slowly getting up, Eddy runs the ropes, goes off the top rope. Poison Rana. 1, 2, 3. Victory for Rey Mysterio Jr. here at Halloween Havoc once again. And yeah, match itself gets an 89, which means I probably overdid the actual, but you know. But Sensation Wrestling, fantastic heat. Tony Joanie was pretty weak at the announcing desk. I mean, it's an Eddy Ray match, of course he would be. And looking at what was the downsides of this, I mean, we got inconsistency for Eddy, Ray, poor gimmick, and emotional for the crowd. So basically, the match itself was actually a little bit better, but crowd's a little burnt out because lots of good matches right in a row. But big win for Rey Mysterio Jr. as he defeats Eddy here at Halloween Havoc again. And Rey Mysterio celebrates the crowd to a 73 as New Yorkers put over how great the match was. And now it's time for, I think there's only either 4 or 3 matches left. So there are some matches that, you know, as I just described, are lots of moves, really hot, and that's how they are celebrated. But then there's some matches where the story and the heat is just there from the start, and the crowd is perfectly able to go along with it. And that's what this match was. As Kidman comes out first, but Kanyon comes out of nowhere right from the back of the, not from the back of the, from the backstage area. I'm just blanking on the word there. And he just attacks Kidman right from the start. And the fight is on right from the bell. We don't see April Hunter again. She just goes to the back. The triumvirate. No, actually, I'll get to them in a moment. But like the match from the start is just Kanyon just going after Kidman, and it's just like Kanyon throwing around Kidman for the first couple of minutes. But eventually, Kidman, Kanyon goes for like Kanyon cutter early, and Kidman pushes him off, and then Kidman takes over. Lots of slow heel work to get over as crowd, just hates Kidman as he just like kicks and stomps and just beats the crowd out of Kidman, working on Kanyon's neck. Big sort of like, I imagine crossface, knee lock, not knee lock, but a sort of like a armbar leading to a big sort of like side suplex, and then DDT, a modified DDT by Kidman, and then like pulling him up and hitting him with another quick DDT, and then locking another long submission. But Kanyon still be fighting out as the crowd like fights along with him. Kanyon eventually fights out, does some big fighting, big shoulder block, lariat, slam, goes up top, diving crossbody as a chance, tries to roll through into another cannon cutter, but Kidman pushes him off, and Kidman takes over. Again, low blow, throws Canyon to the outside. Big just like attacking Kidman, attacking Kanyon. Bad sign if you with the same letter. I'm going to confuse their names. Throws him into the guardrails, drops his shoulder onto the guardrails, and just like attacks it viciously. Rolls him back in, goes for the Kid Crusher, but Kanyon barely pushes. Kidman actually like picks him up, and boom, electric chair as both men are down. Triumvirate actually comes down the ringside, but like Kanyon's actually ready for him and hits a dive on both men. Awesome, and Stormer down. Quick cannon cutter on Storm. Kanyon picks up a chair and drills Awesome with a big chair shot right to the head. And then, but that's enough for Kanyon to hit him with a baseball slide and take back over on offense. Big fisherman suplex for a near fall. Another like modified Falcon Arrow for another pinfall on Kanyon. Kidman goes for the Kid Crusher, but again, Kanyon fights out of it. Kanyon hits a sort of puts himself out of the Kid Crusher, and then hits a sort of like a modified Bulldog. The fight continues as Kanyon like again goes for the Cannon Cutter another time, but Kidman's ready for him, pushes him off, immediately kicks him, goes for the Kid Crusher and actually drills it, but he's too close to the ropes as Kanyon gets his foot on it at basically 2.9. So Kidman actually pulls him up, hits a DDT, then hits with another Kid Crusher, goes up top, and for the first time in a while, shooting star press, but Kanyon rolls out of the way, and as Kidman gets up, boom, Canyon Cutter, 1, 2, 3. A huge victory for Kanyon here at Halloween Havoc. As the reason why I put over that match and actually told a little bit more is 98. 98. I'll be honest, this is probably gonna be the best match of the night because O'Hare's O'Hare, Goldberg Monty are Goldberg Monty. But yeah, just a great friggin' match as Kidman gets an 88, Kanyon gets an 88. So this was basically heat, gimmick. Arn Anderson did a great job, very hot crowd, and yeah. Honestly, if Kanyon had low morale, he probably could have got 100. And of course, the Triumvirate actually do finally recover, and as Kanyon is getting the 3, the Triumvirate, Awesome and Storm get in the ring, but Kanyon rolls out and escapes to the crowd, celebrating with them as the crowd pops as this gets a 71. And it's time for our final 2 matches of the show. But yeah, 98. I was actually I wasn't surprised by it. I was surprised by being 98. I was expecting in the 90s for those two, but not a fucking 98. But so great job, guys. You get a bonus. Then we start out as both Monty Brown and Bill Goldberg come down to the ring. Monty Brown comes down to a massive heel pop. Bill Goldberg also comes down as the crowd is just this is a very different match from Ray Eddy and even Kanyon Kidman. This is just 2 big bosses going after each other, and it's time for that match. So yeah, this is not Kanyon Kidman, this is not Ray Eddy, this is just 2 big guys going right after each other. As it goes, so, basically, there's a little bit of, basically stare down as then the 2 guys just brawl. Monty gets the early advantage and, hits a big side suplex on Goldberg, takes him down with a boot, ground and pounds him, but Goldberg fights back, actually rolls through into a knee bar, then hits his big sort of quasi-exploder flex on Monty, goes for an early spear, but Monty's ready for him as Goldberg eats the turnbuckle. Monty goes back on offense, hits a big boot of his own, picks up Goldberg and actually hits him with a running power slam to a big pop. As then he goes to the corner, goes for the pounce, but Goldberg gets out of the way of that. But then that means Goldberg then goes for the spear and actually drills him with that. But Monty powers out of the jackhammer and it's a big suplex of his own. Battle goes to the outside as you'd expect. Ring apron, ring guardrail. Goes over the ring bell. The fight continues. Nowhere to go for both men. They eventually come back inside. The battle and brawl continues. Big clothesline, big lariat, big suplex. They're just creating big bombs. Eventually, Goldberg goes for the spear, but the ref's in the way as Monty sort of pushes him away. Monty, then brings in a chair, but Goldberg is ready for him and hits him with the chair to the head. Basically hits him with a boot to the head as he has the chair up. Goldberg then goes for a spear, but Stevie Ray distracts him just long enough for Monty to attack from behind. Monty Brown hits the pounce, but the ref is a little slow to awake, and he only gets 2.5. Monty's upset, he's sort of shaking the ref. Goldberg gets over, tries to stop him. Ref gets in the way, gets smushed again as they continue to brawl. The ref eventually gets up just as Goldberg is hitting the spear and then jackhammer, and he wakes up, and then he just waves off the match, and the ref is declared a double DQ, as he also sees that there's various chairs and other implements in the ring, and with not knowing who's done who, he has to call the match a draw. Which, yeah, I know, sort of a fuck finish, but did you expect a clean finish to this first match between them? Match itself gets an 85, which is about where I expected, because these guys, Goldberg, of course, is really over. Monty's more over than you think, thanks to my strong push, as Goldberg gets a 93, Monty gets an 84, not enough selling, which honestly, you should be able to, there should be a match type that's basically toss match, where the lack of selling does not matter. But yeah, obviously, double DQ, but still, that's about as good as I expected this match to be, so I'm perfectly happy with this being what it was. But then the fight continues. Of course, Monty, just throws the ref over the top rope. That gets Goldberg ires up, and they start fighting. And then they fight up the ramp, but Stevie Ray comes behind him and drills Goldberg with a chair. That gives Monty enough of an advantage that as Goldberg is stumbling back, Monty rears up and pounces Goldberg through the goddamn screen. Big pop for that because, despite it being Monty and Monty being healed, that was still a big pop. And oh my god, so I had Goldberg take a stunt bump for this because I figured it'd be, unfortunate. But the injury that popped up is absolutely fucking hilarious to me. So let's just put this. By doing a stunt bump, Goldberg sustained a family death. Gotta love the injury files. Gotta love them. But okay, so basically, Berg actually did get injured, which I figured. Okay, I try to be realistic with this stuff. As far as if somebody's taking a bump through the screen, there's a chance they might get injured because, well, they might. So I gave him a stunt bump, and unfortunately, Goldberg before he gets hurt. Hopefully, this is not as bad because there's supposed to be an angle with these guys anyway. But hopefully, Goldberg's not out for that one. But regardless, there we go. 99 as this feud must continue. And then it's on. So, obviously everybody, Monty Brown gets taken to the back. Goldberg is slowly taken to the back as well by the ring crew. As in the outro is put over the huge main event as Shane Helms gets a shot at the world title. Helms comes down to massive heel response. No Helms legacy as, the announcer's put over that, nobody was allowed to come down the ringside except for Shane. Then Hart comes down to a big pop, and now it's time for our main event, the world title on the line. So this starts off hot as O'Hare basically runs right in the ring and goes after Helms. He just ragdolls him. He throws him across the ring. Helms is not even getting his little jacket you can see there off. He's barely getting it off as O'Hare just drills him with a big boot. Then with a clothesline, picks him up, power slam right in the middle of the ring. Then it's time for the Widowmaker, but O'Hare's Helms is finally ready and nails him with a sort of enough elbows to the side of the head that O'Hare has to drop him, and the match is actually on. Helms takes over fairly quickly. With Helms is going for O'Hare's going for a lariat, but Helms ducks under. Basically drop kicks him in the back of the knee, and it's the time for some limb work is on as O'Hare goes after O'Hare's leg and knee as you're supposed to, if O'Hare can't get Helms up for the Widowmaker, then Helms has a much better chance. The match, continues as, to a slow build. as O'Hare is really, really getting taken apart by Helms early. Quick fracking leg whip, knee breaker, kicks to the knee, single figure four, he even slaps on a figure four leg lock, does a quick woo to heal up to the crowd. But O'Hare slowly fights out of it, even with one leg slightly, does some brawling, takes back over, sends Helms to the outside, comes back out, but that's enough for Helms to actually attack O'Hare's knee on the outside again, hits him with a big sort of running knee right to the head on the outside, goes up to the ring apron, hits him with a tope to keep him down, sends it back in, and then as O'Hare slowly gets up, super kick. But that only gets a 2.5 as Helms kicks out strong, as then Helms probably goes for another super kick, but O'Hare is ready for it, ducks under, picks him up for the Widowmaker, but his knees buckle, and he has to drop Helms back down to the mat with just a quick fireman's carry. And now I can see why Vince McMahon doesn't like two people with similar names, as I'm using Shane and Sean O'Hare. Anyway, Helms, heals up, points at O'Hare's knee and then points his own head to get the boost of the crowd, and he continues to attack it. O'Hare fights him off, hits a big side suplex, exploder, big lariat, big boot of his own, but then he holds his knee again. Helms slowly recovers, is ready for him, hits him with a sort of spin kick, comes off the ring apron with a springboard DT to get a near fall. Then, as O'Hare is getting up, boom, another super kick for a near fall. As 1, 2, O'Hare gets his foot on the ropes. O'Hare slowly gets up. Helms goes after him. Fighting, O'Hare takes over. Irish whip reversed by Helms and sends O'Hare right into the ref. And it really looks like it's going to be bad times. As first, Cash comes out, but O'Hare is ready for him, and he just suplexes him into the depths as he just grabs him, big suplex right over the top rope into just right out of the ring, and he's out of things. Reno comes in, and it looks like Reno's actually going to give a little bit of a fight, but O'Hare gets him again, big boot, suplex, lariat to the outside, and then O'Hare turns around and walks right into another super kick, but he's actually ready for him, picks him up, and it looks like he actually has him ready. And then Widowmaker, but there's no referee. O'Hare goes to go after the referee, and then try to wake up the referee, but Helms attacks him from behind. Another chop block. Ref looks like he's going to wake up, but it's as O'Hare, despite the chop block, is about to pick up Helms again, but then this time, actually, Reno pulls the ref out and sends him into the ring apron, and then, it looks like Reno and Cash are about to help out the leader of the Helms again, when a motorcycle revs up to a big pop from the crowd as Chuck Palumbo comes down to the ring apron, revs up his motorcycle, gets off the motorcycle, comes down to ringside, drills Reno with a big lariat, sends him to the ring apron, tosses Cash basically over the ring apron into the front row, gets into the ring, runs over Helms with a lariat. No, actually, Helms has actually grabbed the title belt from ringside and is about to go nail O'Hare with him when Palumbo turns around and just drills him with a quick spinebuster. Helms rolls into the corner, and then as O'Hare is getting up, he sees his brother, and then Chuck Palumbo grabs him full throttle right in the middle of the ring. Huge heel pop as Palumbo rolls out of the ring, heads back up top to the top, looks back at the ring, gets on his motorcycle, and drives back into the backstage area. Helms gets up, super kick. Referee is slowly getting back up. And then Nightmare from Helm Street goes off the far rope, knee right to the back of the head. Nightmare from Helm Street. 1, 2, 3. new WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Shane Helms. The match overall gets a 89, which is about where I expected. I was hoping for maybe a low 90s, but again, these guys aren't great workers, and yeah. Chuck Palumbo turned heel. That's unfortunate. And his new gimmick is great. Let's see, lost his hurt momentum, penalty to psychology. Okay, no, but yeah. So yeah, 89 overall. Shane Helms wins the world championship. Palumbo turns heel on his brother. O'Haire gets an 88. Helms gets an 87. And let's see here. Is there anything else? No, okay, lack of psychology. Yeah, these guys aren't the biggest psych guys. And post-match, Helms Legacy recovers, and everybody celebrates. The crowd boos. The announcers are still shocked. And we have a new world champion. The Helms era has begun. And overall, the show itself gets a 92. Good stuff. All right, so first, Kanyon and Kidman, you get some hugs. And let's see, was there anything else that was a lot better than I expected? Not really. So hey, Shane Helms, here's a hug for me finally finishing your huge push for over the past 2 years. So yeah. Are you guys shocked? Surprised? I thought I kind of built up Palumbo doing something with heels consistently turned out he's basically Palumbo's O'Haire's running buddy. He's always second best. He always getting attacked and disappeared. And yeah, part of this is I legitimately just wanted to figure out if Palumbo, and also as I think some people pointed out, Palumbo was actually really over. So with O'Haire, but O'Haire's still a top face, so with really nowhere to go, that's what he has to do. So there we go. And plus, this gets O'Haire out of the world title frame for a little bit. So let's just see if there's any news. Okay, O'Haire. Yeah. Oh, okay. So he'll work through it. And since let me just because I'm interested how long he's actually going to have that. Okay, 3 days. Okay, so he basically let's just say his family death was just him taking getting a slight not concussion, but just a welt on his head. Anyway. So other news, let's see here. Heat, whiplash, injury, Akabono. Not really. Okay. Any interesting mail? Let's see here. Sportsnet. Joanie Ace. You tell her that when she's been in the dungeon. Battles. Actually, let me see here. For battles, okay, we literally lost by 2 points. Okay. So again, just do some post-match stuff. So yeah, titles first. Cruiserweight champion is still Elix Skipper. He's been champion since May. Our United States champion, our new champion is Jonathan Toro after London held it for a month. Our World TV champion is still Jason Jett. World Tag Team champions are now Mesias and Morningstar after Wright and Chavo held the title for 2 months. Our Women's World Champion is still, of course, Joanie Laurer. And our new World Champion is Shane Helms. So let's look over the roster real quick as far as some overness changes. So, okay. AJ was slightly hurt by losing to Jamie Knoble. Let's see, Alex Wright. Slight loss by dropping the title to Mesias Morningstar. Goldberg. Goldberg. He's stupidly over. Kidman did. It was a 98 match, so hopefully that didn't hurt things. So okay, actually he's more over. So there we go. Let's see here. Chavo, I honestly don't care that much about you. Chuck Palumbo. Okay, so yeah, he's actually super over. Basically one of our top heels. Eddy, did you get hurt a lot by losing to Ray? No. Okay, you're still stupidly over. Great. Elix Skipper. Nope, that's Emi Sakura. Elix Skipper. Yeah, that's probably as much as the over can get with the current Cruiserweight division. Let's see here. Jeff Jarrett, did you lose a lot losing to Rob Van Dam? Let's see your survey says. 87, okay, so you lost a point. That's literally nothing. Toro, did you get a big boost out of becoming US champion? Not really, but I mean, that's sort of what I expected. Kanyon did a 98 plus winning. Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. He's like now basically one of our top faces again. Um, let's see here. I'm just looking for folks who matter. Bonnie Brown or Mesias. Yeah, I think Mesias actually was hurt being off TV a bit. Let's see. Yeah, he was hurt a little bit just by doing some jobs and then being off TV. So, but he can get built up quickly. Bonnie Brown, super over. Paul London. London slightly hurt by that, but nothing huge. Oh, right, I want to do Celine. Did Celine actually get over thanks to having that good match with Joan? Let's see here. I mean, yeah, for our women's division, that's actually pretty solidly over. Let's see here. Who else? Who else? Who else? Ray Jr. Ray Jr.'s actually, yeah. Ray Jr. like the past couple months, Ray has gained 10 points of pop. And that's, I think, he went over. Okay, so yeah, defeating Awesome and then defeating Guerrero. After honestly having not the best. Like, okay, so British Assault, he lost to Toro, which was fine. Great American Bash, AJ beat him. Sacrifice. Okay, so yeah, actually, that makes sense because, like, yeah, he's not had the best year. Van Dam, and it's just super over. So yeah. And anybody else we care about? Oh, right, okay. Oof. 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 Look at that. Oh, boy. Yeah. And also, if you notice, another reason why I kind of didn't keep O'Hare at the title longer. I mean, he was at a 90 at one point, so he can do that. I just have to, like, rearrange his push, but still. So I know he can get up to 90, so that's a good thing. I just have to, like, yeah. But Shane, oh, okay. Only a point. Okay. So that'll be interesting as he gets pushed. And I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, Tricia's super over, but she's Tricia Skye. Yeah. So if we look at our creative, it's Goldberg, Van Dam, Eddy, Jeff Hardy, Ray. There we go. Who's hot? Morningstar, Van Dam, Monty, Jeff Jarrett, Kidman. Who's not just Liz Dumas, but yeah. As far as our total size, let's see here. Let's check some progress. So yeah, this was actually a big one as we got up over 85 everywhere. Merch wise, just as you can see, Goldberg 8.8 million, second place 2.0 million. There you go. Chuck Columbus 1.2 million. That'll probably hurt a little. Jordan Laurer, fun stuff. But yeah, that's the show. Again, I realize doing this at the end of the video is sort of silly, but again, tomorrow, next show, hopefully on Friday, will be the beginning of the main tournament. So you got until then to get your predictions in. Again, just go to the website, sign up, create your prediction, and you either use your email, a throwaway email if you want, or use some sort of contact way in your name of your prediction. You know, Joe's prediction, ready, username Joe Smo 92 or whatever. And then just pick who you want. And again, finals is a 4 eliminator match. So the only thing I care about is who you have in the semifinals and who you pick as the winner. Finals does not matter at all. But that is it. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like. Comment below on what you're enjoying and not enjoying, and subscribe to the channel for TEW 2020 content, mainly the series and hopefully some other fun stuff. But I think honestly, what was this on for my best shows? Okay, so 10th best show. Wrestle War was just those back-to-back insane matches. Let me actually do just 2004. So yeah, those back-to-back 99 from Eddy, Mesias, and Booker RBDR. It's probably something I won't ever do again. But yeah, Kanyon versus Kidman was a 98. So yeah, I think we're getting back there. But anyway, sorry. That's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.